Of systems physically, I think of systems from a sociological or social perspective, and so I really dig into how people are connected and the dynamics of health and quality of life and societal drivers and all of that stuff. That's what I do.
Mm-hmm. So how do you apply that to health, for example?
Well, about 3 years ago, I started a blog. It was called Word Complexity. It was on WordPress. I had just returned from a stint at the Institute for the Study of System Science and Health. It was being offered by the National Institutes of Health. And they selected 45 people every year, doctoral students and early career researchers, to come and learn these new methods of looking at health and health outcomes. And that included social network analysis and system dynamics, and also agent-based modeling. I happened to choose the network analysis section. So when I returned from that, it just became really apparent that this is how I actually see health from this kind of point of view. I look at little points in people's lives and different factors, and I look at how they're connected and how things feed back to other things. And so it just obviously just made a lot of sense to me. What isn't so obvious in health research is that this is not a paradigm that is used very often at all. We are in the use of this kind of thinking. So, well, what am I going to do? I said, well, I'm going to start a blog. And what I didn't realize was that a blog, I knew to start blogging. It's out there wherever people could find it. Certainly don't want to do anything to embarrass yourself. But if you did allow me to work through some ideas that I had about health and how we should not confine health to affect the I was never satisfied with that articulation of how we live our lives. And I really worked out what is Michelle, what is health, what is systems. A year into that blog, I approached an editor to try to get a book written. I said, well, maybe I should try it. It was through an academic press, Springer. So they certainly have certain expectations of what they want written. But the editor she was kind of new and kind of innovative, and she really loved my blog, and she saw something that could come out of that. And so I published a book. It was called Applications of Systems Thinking to Health Policy and Public Health Ethics, Public Health and Private Illness. It was published in 2015. It was one of those things that you never thought would happen. You just don't. You just never think would happen. But it was also a book that wasn't already out there in the lexicon of the literature. So it was something really new. And people were like, who is this Michelle person? You know, why is she coming from this whole systems point of view? That book I've really been writing the success of that book and trying to build upon that. Now I am, from the book, I'm starting a journal. And I'd like to maybe talk about that a little later, but I don't eschew more conventional approaches to looking at the world. What I'm asking is that we open our lens to different perspectives, and I believe one of those must be a more complexity-friendly, more systems-friendly approach to the world. So I'm just trying to, widen that sandbox and let me play in my little corner with my sand and my shovel. The people doing Bayesian statistics over there, they'll still playing with their shovel, but I have my shovel too. That's really one of the things that will be accomplished by what I'm putting out there to the universe.
Okay. Who's the audience for the book typically? I mean, I think a certain subset of our audience is probably really interested in system thinking and just the way technologies are being applied. But then I think you also have out there, you're more a general kind of person on the street. So this is targeted more maybe to people in health policy.
Yes, that was I write for Hippo Reads, which is kind of, it's been called the TED Talks for Writers. And so all of those articles, they're looking for kind of this academic spin, but in a way that's palatable to others and not off-putting to people who aren't in academia. And I find that to be sometimes the most satisfying kind of science communication that I do. That will translate complicated gobbledygook from all the academic niceties, things that are required in the academic world, but I'm also packaging for another audience. So kind of the Hippo Reads and my podcast experiences I think definitely are speaking to
So one of the things we hear a lot about the way health is transforming is this whole idea of